Hello, hello. Greetings to all the parts of the world. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the live website jury reviews. This is review number 4. And as you know, we are trying to hit every part of the world. We already have the names in the chat. We've got people from Croatia, London, UK, big design agency. Welcome to the show. Great to have you with us. I know there is millions of other things you could be right now doing, but you decided to spend the time on the Awards Academy. And for that, you've got my virtual thumbs up and high five. My name is Petr Tichy. I am the front-end freelancer from Melbourne, Australia. I create tutorials and YouTube videos on my YouTube channel as well. So I Hate Tomatoes is the YouTube channel and my brand. You can follow me on Twitter at I Hate Tomatoes. As I mentioned, I'm in a small studio in Melbourne. It's very cold over here. So send me some warm weather in the chat. Let me know in the chat where are you tuning in from, city and country. And also anytime during this session, when we're going through some of these websites, make sure you ask questions in the chat. Any suggestions, anything you want us to take apart on the sites we'll be going through. These sessions are mainly for you, so make sure you contribute to the chat, ask questions, and we'll try to do our best to answer them. Welcome to the Awards Academy, the online learning platform where smart digital creatives, developers, designers, anyone from the digital industry, they learn and connect on the Awards Academy. So welcome to the Academy. It's great to have you with us. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's growing really fast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any other live sessions, any other re-recordings. You can get the downloaded PDFs from the descriptions. So subscribing to the YouTube channel is definitely a must. And today, as always, I won't be here today alone. I'm always joined by 2 special guests. And today I have 2 special guests with me. They are turning their cameras on behind the scenes, and I can see them showing up. We will wait for both of my special guests to jump on board. Perfect. And of course, they are special because they have great CVs, great portfolio. They know design, and that's why they're here with me. I've got more of the front-end background, front-end development background, but both of my guests today are from the design background. So let's welcome to the show Denis Lomov, creative director at Red Collar. He's joining us all the way from Moscow, from Russia. So welcome to the show, Denis. Take a minute and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, guys. I'm Denis. Yes, I'm creative director at Red Collar. And also I have also a programmer's background as you, Peter, because my career started about 15 years ago. And first of all, I was a backend developer. Then I switched to front-end developer, and then switched to design. And now I'm also a co-founder of Red Collar. So yes, that was my path to this review session.
Perfect.
And
welcome to the show, Denis.
Thank you,
Great to
Peter.
have you with us. And it's a very interesting journey of your career, going from backend to front end and end up in design, and then obviously the main big creative agency sort of thing. It's very interesting. I haven't seen many people going through that way. We might touch on this journey throughout the conversations too, but very interesting, very interesting. Welcome to the show, Denis. Next guest to the show is Liz Wells, senior UX designer at Sting Studios previously, and now she will. Welcome to the show, Liz. And Liz, introduce yourself to the audience as well.
Yeah, so I'm Liz. I just ended a 5-year stint at Sting Studios as a UX designer. So I'm just taking a break before what's next. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here and talk about websites.
Perfect. I admire your passion for design, joining us so early in the morning. 7 o'clock, is it for you?
Yes, very bright and
Wow,
early. You're going to see the
that's
light change behind me.
That is impressive. 7 o'clock in the morning. Wow. Early. Nice. I like it. Okay. So as I said, welcome to the live jury website reviews. If this is the first one of your live sessions or live website reviews, then we always take apart few websites. We pick few websites, we talk about them. Then we have a Q&A so we can answer any of your questions. So again, I'm encouraging you, pop any questions in the chat. Then we'll pick up most of them. We'll try to go through all of them. So no questions will be unanswered. And after that, we'll jump to the next website. Okay, so make sure you're popping the questions in the chat. And that's how we roll every time. Okay, today's cool sites. So you can actually do and follow the site with us if you open it in your new browser, wherever you're watching. Make sure you open the same site. You can browse through it, scan through it, and also scroll, because some of these effects are related. You need to actually use it. Don't just watch the site. If you can open it in the next browser or tab, that's even better. Okay, so the first website we will be looking at is hanzo.es. Okay, someone from my team is trying to test me here if I'm looking correctly at the slides, because on the slide it says hanzo.com. Okay, so whoever tried to trick me here, I'm switched on. Okay, I've got 9 o'clock in the afternoon or in the evening, and I can still read it. Okay, so don't go to hanzo.com. Make sure you go to hanzo.es. Okay, so that is the website we'll be looking at, hanzo.es, and we put it on in the chat as well. So there is a typo on the slide. And now let's look at some of the highlights from the site. It is a website with minimalistic look and feel, single page website with simple scrolling navigation, a lot of white space, modernist grid, and Swiss inspired typefaces. Okay, so that's what we'll be touching on during the conversations. These are some of the highlights. The technologies the site is using Vue.js, Nuxt.js, GSAP or GreenSock animation platform for the animations, jQuery and Pixie.js for some canvas, and video rendering on canvas. So we'll go through it as well as we go through the site. So these are some of the technologies used. And here is a slide with performance. So if you need any of these details and you want to download the PDF with this information, make sure you go to the handouts tab in the interface and you can download the PDF with all these slides. Okay, so the performance, the first contentful pane is very fast. Obviously, there is few things that the site could be doing better, and we'll touch on it as well. Okay. And now let's finally switch to the screen. I'm going to share my screen now. And we will go to the website itself. It's loading. And here it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to actually reload the page. And I'm going to ask first, Liz, what do you think about the first impression?
Yeah, so I really like how they use their client names as the loader. I think that's a nice tease to the content that the user is about to see, and it actually makes the loader a point of education instead of just a fun brand moment, which it can be as well, but I think that's a nice touch, and it kind of hints at later design features that they include later in the site.
Perfect. Beautiful. I like it too. I think it showcases straight away some of the big names in the list of their clients. So straight away show the best of what you've got on the main screen. So I really like it too. Denis, what's your view on the first loading screen?
Yes, I agree with you, with both of you. When I first time saw it, I thought, yeah, that's a nice idea, just to put their clients, some names on the load screen. So you don't have to watch showreel or other works. You already know what this agency is about. So that's really nice, and it's so minimalistic and so clean. I really enjoyed it.
Perfect. Yeah, I like it too. And also what I like is the split between the top section, the white, just white, black and white top, and then the main hero, the main sort of showcase, the show reel. Is it show reel? Yeah, show reel. Yeah. So that's the main hero, and I like how it's sort of just peeking out from the bottom, and you have to scroll to actually see the whole thing. So that's really good. And if we click on it, I think we can watch it. Hopefully it's gonna look okay on the screen too. What I did actually, I did mute the site, so we're not gonna hear any sound, which is good. Obviously, they are all about video and video creation, so that's the main hero. And what I like, what I like, I'm asking also Liz, what do you think about the cursor changing from the play reel to actually close when it's not playing?
Yeah, I think that's really nice. I like how you don't have to teach the user like a new UI pattern, that it's just kind of built into the interaction that they use to enter. But also I like how, like you mentioned, it's the split screen when you first load. I think that's a nice technique to encourage users to scroll instead of using like an arrow or text or something else, but using the main focal point of the page as a way to get users to travel through the site. I think it's a very nice touch as well.
Yep. Dennis, what's your thoughts on the changing cursor over the video, play or close?
Yes, I agree. It's a nice technique, but also I noticed on the other carousel that it says drag on the cursor, but when you click on it or press and hold, there is nothing changing about it. So that's not so good. We will see it on the next slides. Yes, not on the first screen.
Yep.
But if we're talking about the first screen, I see. I really like that it is really minimalistic. Many white space and that video with their works that we can see. It's a really goes to its brand. Yeah, it's talking about we have this video, we have this show reel, but we are really minimalistic guys. We like white spaces. We like we want it to be really cool. Yeah.
Yep. Great insights. I actually, one thing that someone pointed as well in the crowd is that I love the video and obviously the show reel and showcasing all the videos, but I feel like it could be quite too much because the video is very fast. It's changing from different scenes and angles, and it is very fast video. And what I would love to see, if I can pause it at the moment, it's all playing, and really it's quite hard on my eyes. So it's actually that's just my view, but I would love to see an interface when I can pause the video and maybe just skim through it as I want to, but at the moment it plays on autopilot. But I would love to be able to pause it just so I can skim through it and it's not as hard on my eyes. That's just my suggestion. But other than that, great show reel. And the next thing I wanted to bring up is the hamburger menu. Obviously, it has only 2 lines. So can we call it hamburger, or is it more 2 slices of pizza? Liz, what do you think?
Or a very thin sandwich.
Yeah, or very thin sandwich.
Yeah, I think it's nice that it like takes over the full page and it's very different from the rest of the homepage that we were just on. But when you hover over the nav items, there's another line of copy that supports it, and it feels like there's a bit of a disconnect. I think it's also because you're looking at a big monitor, so it does go to the full like width. But I wish they were kind of paired together and felt more coupled instead of very disconnected like they are now.
Yep. Good point. What do you think, Dennis, about the menu itself?
Actually, I like it, but I like it that it's so clean and so many space. But I agree that there's a disconnection with the word that you hover over and the phrase in the left side. So there's a really big distance between these two phrases. So it's hard to look first at your right side and then to the left side because there is no many information about it. It's not just about who we are. It's the same thing. I can recommend just to erase it from the left side and just to make the menu for the half screen, or maybe it could be a full screen menu, but without that short descriptions. I think it could be better.
Yep. My only suggestion for the menu is when you hover over these first 4 items, of course they are just links to different sections of the site, and the contact, I was trying to maybe copy an email or maybe copy the address, but as I get to there, it actually disappears. So just maybe if it could stay on the contacts, and I know the address is not clickable, it's not a link, it's not anything, but if someone wants to drag it, maybe send them a nice postcard, they can't. And the other suggestion or sort of talking point that I wanted to bring up is anywhere we close in this menu, it closes. And what do you think about it? I'll start with you, Denis. So making the full screen modal closable anywhere you click.
Actually, I don't think it's a really good decision, because when you show the whole model screen with that menu, you are not expect to click anywhere to close it, because you see that one line from the sandwich, so it's just minus, so you can just click there to close it. But one thing I want to mention about this menu is that when you hover over some words, the others disappear. So I'm not sure that that's a good decision, because it's already minimalistic. It's already almost nothing on the screen. Why should you hide some other menus words? So I can recommend to not to make so many emphasis on this interaction. I think menu is just a really functional thing. You need to switch between slides, between pages, but not to see so many. I think it's over designed. If it's minimalistic, but really it's over designed. So it's kind of weird to say this because there is nothing on the screen, but I feel so when I just hover over some words.
Yeah. I think one suggestion would be maybe just to fade out the rest of them, but not fully, make them maybe 30% transparent, so you still see all the other items, but not fully disappearing. So, Liz, what do you think? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing to over highlight that one thing you just on?
I mean, yeah, I get what they're doing if they want the sentence to be a full thing. I think if they wanted to amp it up a bit more, I think what would be nice is that if you hovered, if the line of like approach, if you hovered anywhere, even in the middle of the page, it was the full bar and it would highlight that as well. Yeah, like in that area, it would be nice if that kind of revealed things as well, because it would utilize this negative space in a very utilitarian way. And also throughout the site, they also play with a lot of like hover states with images, and it would be nice to bring some of that in here, since we do have so much negative space. Like, why don't we emphasize that and bring that in instead of just relying so heavily on type when the type could do more work. But yeah, I know, I agree. I think like hiding opportunities for the user to leave is a bad UX pattern. And also it doesn't really make sense for a nav. If it was some cool like type moment on the page and we wanted to like highlight different capabilities and services and cool stuff, like, sure, love it. Like, let's hide things and reveal things on hover. But for something that needs to help the user travel, we shouldn't be doing that.
Yep. I think another suggestion just before we move to the rest of the page is maybe if it's all clickable and anywhere you click it closes, maybe there could be a cursor, because they do it on other parts of the site. Change the cursor to X or some sort of indication that, okay, if I click now, I'm closing it. And I think that way, I think people will be more careful and only click when they actually want to close it. So that's one suggestion to bring up. And now let's go to the rest of the side, rest of the page. So we've already spoke about the video, the main show reel, and how it changes the cursor. Then there is a very nice, clean section with the strategic design. So I'll let you tell me what you think, Denis, about the next section, the strategic design, and where they actually talk more about what the services they're offering and their background.
I really like that layout with broken grid, with everything divided in small pieces. Hero text, then explanation, and that's cool. Also, can you scroll down a little bit? Also, I like this videos explaining some services that they offer. But one thing I didn't get, that's when you click on this services on some of the videos, you just get a modal, a pop-up with their other services. Yes, and it's all the same on every video. They are not different, and that's not what I expect from this click on it as a user, because there is nothing I can do here on this model, and there is nothing. That's not what I expect when I see different things. They're talking, for example, branding, interaction, and visual design, and other stuff. But when I click on it, I prefer to see some projects are related with these services, or maybe some explanation about that services. Yeah, but I see always the same pop-up window, model window with all this stuff. I can recommend to make this really separate section, not just to show them as a pop-up always, but to write them underneath those videos, or maybe somewhere in the footer. So that's what I think about that section.
Good. No, I like it too. And same thing as happens on the big model is that anyway you close it, closes it. So my suggestion for this section, and I like it, it's very obvious what they do, the four pillars of their services. And I would maybe want to see which of these services are highlighted to that specific. They are not really showcases. They just talk about technology, content strategy. So they are more detailed about what they are offering. But I like the videos. I think they describe the brand and product strategy very visually. But again, maybe there is too many of them playing at the same time for my eyes. Liz, what are your thoughts on this section?
Yeah, I do like the broken grid. I think it matches really well with their design system of being like very minimalistic, and then adding this like little touch of chaos is really beautiful. But I agree, like if you have 4 points of entry to the same thing, which is the services overlay, it clearly is important. So it does deserve its own section, or at least to be integrated better into this section. So okay, I know this is a lot of content and they probably didn't want to list it all. Maybe just put it under like a read more and it expands down and we just have the like top ones highlighted. But something I wanted to call out is that I noticed that their logo isn't sticky and their nav is, which is great. So I thought it would be interesting that they should have a sticky logo as the user scrolls, just because their site is so simple. And it might be nice to just leave that branding moment available for the user always, because their site is simple and it could be kind of lost in the website. I think it would be nice if the logo came down with the user as they travel through, just kind of as a way to like kind of leave a reminder with the user of like, hey, this is us, like you're on our site still, we're here, what's up?
Yep, good point. And we've got actually a question coming from Peak Agency. How quickly can you find their services, Denis? What do you think? How quickly, when you get to the page from the first load, how quickly can you find their services? Is it obvious? Is it hidden too far? Is it not? What do you think?
I think they do it right. On the first screen, I get the first impression. I see it brand approach. I see that they are minimalistic and they do some works through the show reel. And then just after the show reel, I get the information about their services. I think it's just a second screen, we can call it so. So it's quite easy to know, to get information about their services, and they are illustrated with this really nice videos. So I don't see any problem there with getting this information.
Yep, I think the same. And also someone mentioned that the details of the services kind of looks like a footer, but I think it's more important than to have it at the bottom of the page. I think it deserves its own section on the page, but not all the way down at the bottom, because it's obviously very important for them. So yeah, hiding it in that menu, I'm not sure if it's the best place for it, but I like the clean layout of it and clearly explaining exactly what they are about. Okay, so perfect. Thanks for that question. I need to give a big thumbs up for Peak Agency for the question, and everyone else, you should jump into the Q&A and chat as well and ask more questions. And let's go to the next one. Actually, first one, let's take it easy, because the site deserves it. It's nice and simple, but I think there's a lot of talking points we can actually bring up. And the one which I think it's starting to show in more and more website is the scroll snapping. So when you stop, I think 30% of the top of the screen, the whole section aligns to the top of the viewport. So what's your view on that, Liz?
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for like hijacking the user scrolling. I think you need to do it cautiously and with purpose, and it shouldn't just be willy-nilly, because you are taking agency away from the user, and that's kind of needs to be done with respect and with caution. I think for this, it makes sense because this is a one-pager site, like we've mentioned, and we have the nav takes you to different anchor links throughout. So I think having some way to visually and physically like move the user to different sections and snap to it makes sense. I wish it was just a bit clearer of where sections begin. In some points at the bottom of the page, they have subheads that's like, oh, we're in the about, we're in the approach, we're in this. And I think it'd be nice if that was more consistent instead of just kind of hinting at, we're in a new section now and we're going to push you into that.
Yep. Denis, what's your view on the scroll snapping of all the sections? We're going to go through the details sections later, but just on the scroll snapping, what's your thoughts?
Actually, I agree with Liz, and that was the first thing I noticed when I opened this website. So I just scrolling it through it, and then I see that it scrolls automatically. I didn't do nothing, but it happens. So I was surprised by it, and I don't think in this case user is expect to do this. So I think if we have really different sections with different backgrounds, maybe from black and white and something like that, it could be done. It's okay, but sometimes we have just one long page, one long section with one white or black background, and in that case, when something happens without your any interaction, without just letting you know that something is gonna happen, it's kind of weird that sites just want me to see that they are showing. I want to control it as a user. I want to, if I want to scroll, I want to stop where I want to stop. So if it's I think auto scroll, and it's okay if we talk about slide by slide website. Yeah, so you just scrolled a little bit and it just show you the next slide. But in this case where you see the whole long page with all that different grids, with all that videos, it's not really nice decision, and I haven't seen a really strong purpose for it.
Okay, good. Fair enough, good points. And obviously everyone's got different opinion, and we're here to tell what we think about the site. We're not the main target audience. We don't know what the business goals of the sites are. So take our opinions for what they are. And if you would disagree with it, let us know in the chat. Okay, very important. If we always agree on everything, then we don't have to have a conversation. Okay, so I actually don't mind scroll snapping as much as on the first side. When I came to the site for the first time, I did, it sort of surprised me that it snaps to the top of the screen, which is all the sections. But as I went to the site more times, I sort of got used to it, and I was then expecting it, and I actually find it okay to use. So yeah, I think getting used to it and teaching the user that that's what's going to happen, and maybe make more clearer lines between the sections is the way to go. The next talking points I wanted to bring up is the big sort of contrast between the section of the services that we on now and the next one, which is the dark section with the list of their clients. And I'll let you, Liz, talk about it. What do you think about that the contrast between these two sections?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like we're very much in like the agency's like brand world up there. Like they made those little clips for each of their services, and it feels very branded. And then now we're going into their work, which obviously feels like their clients' brands and their clients' work. So it's like it's a very interesting contrast, and I think it also plays into like the visual contrast as well. I wish it wasn't as such a sharp transition of like where we were in a world of like smaller images, and then it pushes you into a world of full screen images and then big type. I wish there was a bit of like a transition moment that felt a bit more natural. But what I do love is, I mean, I'm a sucker for full screen images, I think, and especially when it's like beautiful work, it makes it really easy to enjoy. But also I do love the inertia on the type. I think that's a very nice touch and adds a bit of like human to a very stark and like minimalistic site. So I think that's a nice touch. I wish that type of touch was throughout the site and wasn't just in this effect. I wish, for example, when you were on the previous section, maybe when you scrolled, there was a slight inertia of the images as you scrolled, just to like kind of call back to this, because this feels very random and different when we see it now.
Yep. Dennis, what do you think about this section? And mainly the contrast between the dark and light background changes.
If we talk about this section, I really like it. Yes, I like the contrast. I like big full screen images, videos, yeah, and inertia with these brand names when you're scrolling. It's a really great approach, and I really like it. But if we talk about the contrast between black and white, when you just scroll and everything is so simple, so clean, and then you just go to the whole new black screen. It surprised me. So I think it could be smoother. My recommendation is just to make user expect that there's gonna be big changes for him. That it's gonna be everything full screen. So we could just show that there's something black from the bottom, and then it comes to the whole screen. Yeah, we could do it a little bit smoother so it could be expected. I think so.
Yep. Great point on that one. And I think, to be honest, I was looking at the code behind, and And there is, so this section we're looking at the moment, it's purely HTML, it's DOM elements on the page. And then the next section is actually full screen canvas. So the video and the next section is rendered on a canvas, and the canvas is full screen. So you cannot show a little bit of the dark background coming from the bottom because the canvas already is taking the full screen. So that's where it probably is not the best connection between canvas full screen and the other elements moving in the normal document flow. So I think it's a challenge. Technically, it's not easy to reveal the full screen in a way that it comes from the bottom. So I think there was technical challenge between why this couldn't be done smoother, and because the next section is already there, is already full screen. As soon as you show it, it shows like that. Maybe it could be faded out a little bit longer than it is. And one my suggestion on this, and you mentioned that you like the inertia on the scrolling, where the text is sort of distorted faster or slower you scroll, which is good, and I like it, but it feels smooth, but feels much smoother than the rest of the site, just because this is a canvas element and the images and the text, mainly the text, is scrolling so smoothly. It felt like, oh, why is it suddenly smooth? And then you go to the next section and that feels not as smooth, because that again is not canvas anymore. So there are two ways of the scrolling, one on the canvas and the rest of the page. So this scrolling feels different than the section above it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I would love to see the scrolling to be more consistent through the whole one pager, if that makes sense. Okay, the other thing, just one little thing on the menu here, on the menu of the logos. Let's go back. And I love the big videos as well. Ulyss touched on it as well, just showcases the great work they do. What do you think about the little gap between the individual logos or brand names, Denis? When I hover over and then go to the next one, there is a little bit where nothing is selected. Would it be better if it was sort of touching and you go straight from one to the other?
I didn't get what you're talking about right now. What do you mean by gaps?
So I am on this video, Zafin, and then I go out, everything is selected, and then I go on live tracks, and that is selected. So there is little gap in between, which I thought if there was some sort of invisible box that if I hover over, I go straight to the next bit. Maybe it's not a problem, but I thought it could go straight to the next one. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I got it. I agree with you. I agree that actually they should do the container bigger for this brand names. So yeah, I expect as a user, I expect when I hover between these brand names, I expect not just to be in the white space without anything. It's the same thing that Liz talked about the menu with they could be connected with a straight line through the whole width. So yes, it's a good point, Peter. I agree with you.
Good. We'll get to the next section, and I'll let Liz break this one apart. It is the next approach section, methodology. What do you think about the visual appear of the next section, Liz?
Yeah, I mean, this illustration is really fun. I mean, this site, like something that they do really well consistently is like motion. Motion is like a constant theme. And I think this is a perfect example of like, it could just be a very simple illustration of shapes, but they were able to add some dynamicness to it. So I think that's very nice. But again, this is something I mentioned earlier with the menu, but like it says our approach at the top, which is great. I like showing the user what section they're in and kind of referencing back to the nav, but this is the first time we've seen that, even though we've gone through multiple sections. So I just wish that kind of clear signposting for the user was consistent throughout the site, because I feel like when we get to the bottom, it's the more like, the more like informational side of the site. It's less of like the cool, fun images and stuff, and now it's like clear information. So I wish that it was consistent between the two of like our work, our services, and then now we have our approach. So it just feels a bit more connected because now it feels like we're in like business mode. Like now we're wearing a suit and before we're wearing like a party jumpsuit. So I wish there was like kind of more of that flow between the two.
Yeah. I like these SVGs. These are animated SVGs under the hood, and I actually like it. It's sort of this abstract element to the side, and it feels crafted, feels doesn't feel templated. It feels very unique, you know. So I really like this section and especially on mobile. What I like that these 4 sections, they actually don't stack up underneath each other, but they still stay 4 in a row, and you can actually swipe through them on the mobile. So very simple effect how you can just take 4 columns and still show them as 4 columns on mobile with a little overflow. I like that. Denis, what's your view on this section?
If we talk about this section separately from the whole site, it's great. I like it. But after other sections that we saw, it's kind of new thing. It's just, okay, we saw some full screen videos, we saw some broken grids, we saw some really minimalistic section, and now it's illustrations, and it's just another thing, not from this website, as I think. And one more thing I want to mention is that small caption our approach, and it looks like a link, but it doesn't lead you to anywhere. It's just okay, this our methodology, and I thought I could just click on it and read more about it or something like visit other page, but it's just a header, it's just a small caption, but it looks like a link, and I don't think it's a good UX pattern for this section.
Yeah, I agree. Anywhere you put an arrow, anywhere it might look like a link, of course people will click on it, and yeah, that's definitely misleading. Not sure why the arrow is there, and if we need it, I don't know. Yeah, Liz, what are your thoughts? Is it misleading?
Yeah, that's a really good point of like arrows. You assume you're traveling somewhere, you're going somewhere else. And like, I get an arrow can be used as like a design element just to kind of show a headline or a subhead. But because it hasn't been used anywhere else on the site, it doesn't seem like we've learned that language. Even in the nav, like where we kind of do have those smaller, we see that like text style again, it doesn't have the arrow, it doesn't kind of call back to that. So it does seem a bit random and like it should be taking you to a secondary page where like you get a full team view or a full like approaches view. If they just did like a dash or an M dash, that would have been fine. Or even just pulling from that illustration that they have and do like a dotted line or just something to make it feel more branded and unique to them instead of just an arrow.
Yeah. Good. The next section, we actually going to the core team. So the whole team from hanzo.es, and it's done in this nice draggable slider. Denis, do you like sliders? Do you like draggable sliders? Do you like it in this case? What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
On the
Yes, I like this slider. I like how it moves, and everything's okay with it. And I like the photos, they're creative and nice looking. But as I mentioned before, we have this cursor that says drag, but when you press on it or hold it, nothing has changed. Nothing's changing, and you just we showed user on the show reel that when you cursor tells you what to do. So it says click on it to close or click to play, and now it just says drag. And I think my recommendation is to change the state when you press on it and when you release it, so it could be more. It could be easier for user to just to know that it's really new interaction. We didn't see it before on this page screen, so it's nothing that everybody knows how to use. Yeah, so everything drag. So just to say, click and hold, and then drag, and then release. I think it's my suggestion for this section. But I really like this slider. Yeah, it's cool.
Good, Liz. What's your thoughts on sliders and draggable sliders and the cursor interaction here?
So yeah, I like the cursor interaction. I think I have like a very mixed relationship with sliders because in actuality, like users won't be playing with it as much as you are. Like that's just not realistic. And especially with something where like they have these like very custom photos for everyone on their team and clearly like, put that time and effort to feature everyone. I wish they did everyone more justice in like making it a grid or like just doing something else where like you could see everyone instead of like having to like work to see everyone, because clicking and dragging is a bit of a more heavier interaction than just like swiping to the side. So I wish there was a bit more of a payoff for your interaction of doing this. Like when people like click to drag to unlock things, I think that's when it's a good interaction because you are getting a reward for the interaction you're putting into it. But for this, I feel really bad for the folks that are like towards the end of the carousel because no one's gonna ever see your pictures. And like, you know, imagine like calling their parents like, hey, I'm on the website. And then it's like, no, you gotta keep clicking, keep going, okay, there, yeah, 5 minutes, yeah. So I just wish like they were a bit more like gridded out or, you know, like even pulling from the grid that they use on the above side of like, you know, kind of an offset grid just to make sure everyone was featured. And then maybe for this, like, they could have just featured like a few quick, like, let's say like benefits of the company or just something that like it wasn't as heavy as all these employees.
Yes. I look, I like it. I think I understand that maybe it's not as important. You wouldn't put slider long like this for your big showcases, and but for to show the whole team. And the slider is very fast. If you, I don't want to do it here because it's gonna look bad on the video, but it's actually very fast sliding slider, so you can easily get to the end of it. And I think it's also infinite, so if someone's on the end, he's also the first one from the other end. So maybe tell your mom, don't slide left, slide right.
I mean, either
okay,
first
but
one or the other.
Yeah, we'll need to wrap it up here. Of course, today we won't have time to go to another side. We already took 47 minutes to go through just this side. And it just shows you that there is a lot of talking points, even if you talk about one-page website. There is no, we don't need to dive into other pages and hierarchy on anything. It's just a simple page with obviously few talking points that we brought up. So we won't be going to the second side that we had in mind, and that was done the will. .se. We don't have time to do that, but we'll definitely touch on that side next time. And I wanted to give a big shout out to Miguel Ray from all the creative images. I thought Miguel from the technology team is a very cool photo. And as Denis mentioned, creative photos just make the company creative, make the whole team creative. So well done, well done to hanzo.se. And let's go quickly to some of the questions from the crowd. I'll try to pick something. While I'm doing that, Denis, can you just quickly, what do you think about the next section, which is the our values, just after we scroll down off the, oops, I lost it. Let's go back to our values. Yeah, let's talk about this, and I'll find some questions from the crowd.
Yes, in the bottom of this single page website, we now see this consistency. We see header with our values caption, and this almost the same with the previous section. So I think it's a really nice section with these small pieces of their works, with their office, and they just say for words, yeah, quality, people, flexibility, trust, and we see that they are really simple, minimalistic, and this section is all about that. So it's simple, nice looking. I don't see anything bad in this. Yes. that's that's the point where we started from. It looks like the very beginning of our website, and it's okay. So they showed the whole journey through this page. So it started from the minimalistic header with the tutorial, and then through the projects, videos, black screens with these animated SVGs, and then it's okay. It became calm, and so okay, user, you can relax right now and just read some our core values, our clients, and I think it's a really a journey through this whole website. I like it.
Good. The next section is for you, Liz. I'm still digging the questions from the people watching, so make sure you dump in the question in the chat. Liz, what do you think about these detailed partnerships and hover over when the image comes like this?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thinking to have a partnership section because it is the same clients or most of the same clients as in their like portfolio section. So I wish that this was almost paired with the portfolio section because these look like nice little descriptions of like, for this client, we did X, Y, and Z, and like this is how we improved X, Y, and Z. So I wish this was paired more with the big portfolio section to give it a bit more meat instead of just like brand name, image, keep scrolling. And I wish this was paired with it to kind of make it feel like more connected, because now it just feels like, was the Air Europe project the same one as this one? Like, why are we talking about it here, but we mentioned it up there? So I just wish these were combined a bit more. I do love an image hover state, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of frustrating that when we need to this is a very information heavy section and we're covering up the information with a hover when you might be just hovering over it naturally because that's where your eye is. So I think it's kind of a misguided interaction here and just kind of a bit too much like sugar in the website. Like it's a bit just too extra for what it needs to be.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on this one. I like the image coming up when you hover over each of the boxes, but I would want the image to be offset a little bit to the top. So when I'm reading about Air Europa, I actually, the image is covering what I want to just read. So if that image was covering the company at the top, I wouldn't mind as much as I minded now. So I have to move somewhere else to read what I wanted to read before. So maybe just the hover position is not the best because whatever you try to read and you go to the title, it sort of covers the text. But that's just my view on this. And but what do you think about, Denis? Have you checked the site on mobile? How does the site look for you on mobile?
Yeah, I checked this site on the mobile and I really liked it. I liked it more than on the desktop. So when you click on the menu, there is nothing nothing left with these short descriptions, and it looks consistent. So actually, I like it more than on the desktop, and it has some issues with that canvas scrolling because it's not different types of scroll, and you feel it as a user. You don't feel like it one real website. It's just something has changed, and you need to adapt to it to see some works. I have some questions about how should they resolve the problem with their projects, because now they have just coming soon and there is no page for it. So it's interesting, how will they do this? Is it going to be a new page or just a link to Behance or somewhere else? So I don't know, and it's really interesting because this website is a single page website without any pages. It's just a long journey through it where you can find all the information. I know that I think it's a great approach just to make this so clean, so simple, but also it gives you really really much information about this company. Really, so you can find almost everything you want: clients, projects, core values, team, everything. And it's just so simple and with so many information. So I really think it's a good thing. And actually, I want to add about this clients that I think I have a reason why they do that, to separate from projects and make a own section for the clients. I think sometimes when you work with some clients, you do many things for them, not just one project. And sometimes you work with some clients that you cannot make a really project, a really big case about what you have done, but you can make a short description. So I think they have really different things with projects and clients. So that's why they decided to separate. So we can do that in our team also, because we have some really big clients we work with, but we can't show some works about because of NDA or some other stuff.
That's interesting, and also I like what you're saying about having different details in this section. But when you look at it on mobile, the copy is actually hidden. You only see the logos. You don't see the hover of the image. Of course, there's no hover on mobile, but the text itself is hidden for each of these companies. So I'm wondering, is the copy more secondary, Liz? What do you think about hiding the copy on mobile? Could it be shown here as well?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what they're trying to do. Like, you know, a lot of agency websites, like on the about page or on the bottom of the page, they like do that like logo garden of their different clients, which is like what this feels like, but just a very beefy logo garden because it's a lot. If the text is so important, they should show it. And if it is kind of like what Denis was saying of like, hey, we can't show everything, but like we've done so much work for so-and-so, like I think that they should show it. And especially because they can't reveal they don't have their case studies done now, I think it would be really important for them to have it, to just add that extra ammo of like, hey, no, we're a real company, but also like we've done really good work and cool work, like hire us, please. So I think it's kind of a lost chance to show it on mobile, to be honest.
Yep. Good. Last two questions. We've got two questions from Mireya Ortega. If you could change anything on this side, what would it be? UX UI designer from Spain. Thanks for the questions. And the question goes to Denis.
Thanks for the question. Actually, I like this website, and the things I want to change is just to turn off that snapping to the section effect. Just make it more scrollable without any auto scroll or something like that. And also, I think we can just hide some techniques, because there are too many different mechanics, too different techniques, too different interactions and animations on one so simple looking website. So I think we can make 3 different websites from this one, and they all could be really great. So I think my idea is to make it more consistent, just to turn off something that doesn't matter. We can make some sections more simpler. We can make some interactions. We can turn off something. So I know why they did so. They wanted to show all the things they can do for their clients. So they can show, we can do this, we can do that, and that's great. I understand it, but I think it's too much for just one website.
Yep. Great, Denis. And I think that we've got last questions. Quick answer for Liz. What's your favorite part of the site?
My favorite part of the site, I mean, there's so many different things going on, I do really love the the project section where it's the full screen and the big type as you scroll. I think that section is really polished compared to everything else, and it's the most memorable part of the site, and I think that is really successful for them, but also I really enjoy it too because it does create a fun interaction for me, the user, and I get to interact with their projects, even though it's surface level, but it's still a nice way to kind of showcase their work in a memorable way.
Yep. Perfect. Good. Fantastic. We're running out of time. We'll need to change it back to the slides. And as I mentioned, we didn't get to the second website that we had planned, but that's okay. We can always get to it next time. So let's get back to the slides. And for a second, yes, I found the last slide. Thank you very much. Don't forget to check out the next How Dropbox is Powering Culture and Community Through Design Ops. So there will be next session on the Awards Academy by Michelle Morrison on the September the 3rd. Okay, so lock it into your calendars and make sure you follow that one. And let us all know on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube channel, anywhere you are. Let us know. What do you think about these? Do you like the format? Do you like the websites we're picking? Do you want us to pick specific website? Let us know, and we will do it next time. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Again, thanks Denis and Liz, and we'll see you all in the next videos. Until then, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
See you, Liz.